am so over vaping. When I moved to Utah about 6 months ago, I decided to quit smoking. So I bought the Juul, and then I went to the Vuse Alto, kind of went between the two, and then I decided to upgrade, not much, not a big full mod. I'm getting flushed out. Not a full mod or anything, but you know, something that could do the Nic salts and regular e-juice. So got a little plastic Smock X-Force, and that was great. It was so easy, it was affordable, wasn't high maintenance at all, which is what I was going for. And I started having problems with it. You know, I'd had it for a long time, you know, like 6 months for something that quality. That's a decent amount of time, and like the amount of times I dropped it or whatever. So like I was saying, the X-Force started leaking. I think it needs a new top part, you know, it holds the juice and the coil. And I was like, you know what, like, I stuck with vaping for this long, I don't smoke cigarettes really anymore, so I think I'm gonna upgrade. Like, I think I'm gonna finally do, every time I went to a vape shop, they tried to upsell me and get me to buy, like, a real mod. So I had some extra money, I was like, I'm gonna upgrade, I'm gonna get something nice. And the guy at the smoke shop told me to go with this one. It's a VooPoo Drag. I had to buy the batteries for it, both batteries. I had to buy the charger for the batteries, the tank piece here, the coils, the extra stuff that comes with it, whatever. Like I said, I had the extra funds. So like, the first week was great. Hadn't had any problems, there was no burning, there was no leaking, it was fine. I was like, okay, haven't had any issues yet, happy with my purchase, you know, once I need to change the coils, we'll see, but this is fine. Well, about a week later, it starts leaking from the top. So I was like, okay, you know, maybe it just needs a new coil. You know, I'm new with the vaping, so maybe I wore out the coil figuring out the wattage and all of that stuff, right? I know nothing about vapes. This is why I stuck with simple and cheap and easy, you know, just to make sure I didn't blow a bunch of money on something I wouldn't be happy with. So it starts leaking. I go to the smoke shop, or no, not the smoke shop, the vape shop. So I go to the vape shop, and the guy was like, you know, when's the last time you had the atomizer changed? And I was like, well, I've only had it for, this is a new device, I've only had it for about a week and maybe a week and a half, if that. So he's like, oh, so it's the one it came with, sometimes those aren't great, like, you know, let's put a new atomizer on, that should fix the issue. So we replaced the coil, replaced the atomizer, refilled my tank, said this should fix it. Well, it didn't, started leaking everywhere again. So the next day after work, I go back to the vape shop, talk to a different guy, and he's like, oh, well, sometimes that can happen when the juice pools at the bottom and then something, and he teaches me this technique to fix the issue. And he's like, just hold it about this far away, blow in at the top, do little puffs, that should fix it. So I do that, I leave, you know, I couldn't do it in stores, so I go outside, I do it, seems fine, seems to fix the issue, so I go home, and it's still leaking everywhere. So at that point, I was like, I don't want to go back to the vape shop for a third day in a row. So I would just fill it up, clean it, it would leak everywhere, I would take it apart, clean it, put new O-rings on, still leaking, and I just basically was like, fuck it, I'm going back to the Juul, I'm going back to the Vuse Alto. Like, this is why I didn't want a big ass vape, is because this happens, and I hate it, it's so much maintenance. So, after suffering with this for the last few days, I go back to the vape shop last night. Talked to the first guy who helped me. And he was like, oh yeah, I remember, you know, is this the same atomizer we just changed? And I said, yes, it is. And so he said, maybe you just had bad luck with the atomizer, maybe we just need to try again. So he puts the atomizer on, puts new O-rings on again, and get home, everything seems fine. But today, guess what? It starts leaking everywhere. So I replaced this little glass piece with a backup one that came in the package for this, and it seemed to be hitting just fine. Everything was good. I go back from break, and guess what? It leaked. Even I have probably gone through now about 2 bottles of juice over the last week and a half now, 2 bottles of juice. And those are like, what, 15, 20 bucks each? And this whole setup, the batteries, the charger for the batteries, the tank, the coils, everything, I've spent close to like over $200 at this point. On top of the juice, add the juice into the mix, I have lost so much money, and no one can seem to tell me why this is happening. I've cleaned it, I've changed the things, I've done everything that I can do that I know how, and it's still not resolved. So I have to carry around this washcloth with me everywhere because nothing else works. Just for the love of God and all that is holy, somebody tell me why it's doing this. Somebody tell me how I can fix this. I don't want to spend any more money. This was supposed to make my life easier. It's just been nothing but a mess, a literal mess, everywhere. Just flushing money down the toilet that I don't have. I'm so frustrated, I'm so angry. I don't know what else to do. Why is it leaking? I keep it upright. At night I take the tank off, I put it upside down, I do the little blowing technique that he taught me. No, that's what she said, sorry. But it's just frustrating. I'm losing my mind. I'm going to punch a baby, and I don't want to do that. So please, somebody, help me. What is going on? Why is it doing this? Thank you.